Welcome to the Adventures of Jir'Haniya. This is session number something. We discussed this last time. In Haven Hearth, the group embarked to thwart the common criminal Doran as he gave them a task to escort some people from a ship to his tavern called Tavern. The group met 9 islanders from Corvain, which is an island up north. And after some brief miscommunications, they got them to the tavern called Tavern. And a quick rundown of what happened is that the city guards were alerted by Eremos. The islanders felt swindled by Doran. They tried to kill him. Kastan's quick thinking saved him from being burned alive. They got Doran out, healed him of his injuries, and turned him into the city guard. He was arrested. The islanders holed up in the tavern called Tavern, and the city guards surrounded it. Verkis very nobly implored them that these people came kind of under duress. They're not welcome in Jir'Haniya. They were trying to move through the city with, inconspicuously, and you asked to show them mercy. And we don't know the fate of the islanders or their city guard or how that went down. The next morning, Eremos did go to his priestess named Gregorius. He used the unusual spell to cast of Speak with the Dead and confirmed that unfortunately Hirgon is gone. He gave you kind of very vague encouragement to continue on your journey. And with that, the group left Havenhearth heading for the Mound of Mulcarian. The first 3 days of travel went pretty innocuously. There was an encounter with some suspicious people and a broken down wagon that Eremos repaired. Thankfully, that never turned into any kind of combat. They went on their way, and on the 4th morning, the group decided that before they continue moving south away from the river, heading for the Mound of Mulcarian, that it would be good to stock up on water. So Tide and Kastan took a little hike up north to get some water, and in the meantime, Verkis and Eremos trained. Can Eremos and Verkis tell me about your training plan for the morning, and we will kind of go from there once you guys describe your game plan for that morning.
So there was a rivulet that tributed the river there, and I saw a couple interesting logs that were going across back and forth, and I posed to Verkis, what say you we set up an obstacle course of sorts and use it to hone our strength and dexterity this morning?
And for that, Verkis was all for it, kind of using his understanding of the area and memories of stories he's been told, kind of put together some obstacle courses that more on the dexterity. He had to ask Eremos for help to lift a few things, but eventually they spent the entirety of the time just running drills. They sparred a few times, just learning learning ways to work together and shore up each other's weaknesses and strengths.
Nice. So actually, just to build on that, what I'd like you guys to both do is, if you can write down somewhere, if you have some note-taking stuff handy, I think that due to your training together, that for the next 3 days, up to 3 times total, you guys can use a special ability where, as a bonus action, one of you can give the other an extra action on their turn if in combat. Just 3 times over the next 3 days, so it is a limited use. But because you guys are in sync after sparring, you guys can get a little teamwork boost. You know what I mean?
And what do we have to use to give that to our partner?
So it's a bonus action, and in terms of in narrative action, it would be either a nod or a gesture or a hand signal, something to where you could just use a teamwork bonus to increase speed and cohesion. You know what I mean?
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for writing that, Rex. Yeah. Now, Verkis and Eremos, while you guys are training, and you notice that the horses, especially Bub, are all watching you and just chilling and chilling by the campsite. I assume you guys would have given them a nice breakfast of some apples and some carrots. So
absolutely.
They're happy. But you guys notice that as you're training, you guys take a minute to take a break, get some water, and you notice the sun's overhead. It's almost noon, and Kastan and Tide are not back yet. And it seems like they should have been back by now for sure. So how would you guys discuss that?
that poses ill tidings.
Why do I feel like my cousin found another girl that he tried to propose to?
Very well could be, or they could have fallen into some kind of a pit or been waylaid along the way. How far did they say it was up that hill?
I don't remember.
They would have said the hike is about 1.5 to 2 hours, and they left around 9. So around noon, they should be coming back, and they're not here yet. So I guess actually this would be closer to 1 p.m. It's been a little bit afternoon, and you're like, huh, they're not back yet. That's concerning. So.
You think we should give chase?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Verkis and Eremos, if you decide to go north and look for your two companions, would you leave the horses at the campsite, or would you take them with you? Like, would you pack up the camp, or would you how would you guys do that?
Actually, Eremos, if you're comfortable with it, I can scout ahead a bit. Tracking is kind of what I do.
I will stay here and guard the camp.
Wonderful. I'll kind of try and find their tracks and see where they may be.
Perfect. So there's no need to roll for it. Verkis, you pick up the tracks of, because you watched Kastan and Tide leave, so you know the route they took initially going from the camp. So you start following their tracks, and as you get to kind of the edge of where the forest starts more in earnest, which is where they were headed, you see Tide and Kastan coming out of the trees. And Tide and Kastan, you see Verkis.
Cousin!
Hello.
We are like tattered and like
I'm not.
dirty.
I cleaned myself up.
Kastan is tattered and dirty. I'm actually wearing shoes for once. They're no longer like hanging around my neck. There's like twigs and leaves and branches in my hair and stuff. Like, yeah.
You put some of those in there.
Of course.
You were just getting water.
And we did.
Yes.
Okay. What, did you get in a fight with the lake?
Not the lake.
Mm-mm. This was after.
There were some birds.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of animals. A lot of animals talking to Kastan today.
Barnard was great. Let's go back to camp.
Barnard?
Yeah. Oh, Barnard.
He's my new
yes.
friend.
Okay. Yeah.
Loves head scratches.
Eremos is back at camp with the rest of the horses. So, yeah, let's return.
Great. Lead the way.
It takes you guys just a couple minutes to get back to camp. So, Eremos, you see coming out of the little nearby low hilltop, you see your three companions returning.
And Verkis is just rubbing the bridge of his nose.
Already.
We have like the cart and all that set up, right?
Bub
like
neighs
drop the water
excitedly at seeing all three of you.
I immediately drop the water that we got and then lay down on like in the cart on some hay and just start relaxing. Bring my sketch pad and start drawing.
I take the water from you, especially if it looks heavy, and put it and help it load it into the cart. And I inspect both of you for injury.
I'm okay.
Kastan, did you heal after things that happened, or?
Absolutely not. No, I am bleeding.
Yeah, he's at about 75% HP. So he's taking some
I'm
hits.
okay.
I run to him and I immediately tend his wounds, and I cast a few wounds for your injuries.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, you see that like it looks like I have like a curved kind of
Oh yeah.
series of like pierces.
Oof.
Perhaps I've been bitten.
They're not super deep, but they are concerning a little bit, you know?
I guess they're not really pierces. Maybe it's like a
I would say
bruising?
pierces. A series of tiny pierces.
It was piercing
Okay.
damage that you took, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
Lots of piercing. Lots of itty bitty bits of piercing damage.
And some weird bludgeoning damage from my tongue, but I'll let you all explain
Oh
that.
my god,
so.
I'm so glad I avoided the tongue. I'm so glad I avoided that tongue.
You
It
regain
wasn't as bad as you think it would be. 10 hit
Phrasing.
points. Yeah.
Phrasing. You avoided the tongue. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah, so we went to get water, like we said we were going to, but then Barnard came up. Barnard's my new badger friend, and he was asking for a little bit of help with some stuff that was going on. He led us to his little community of critters that we ended up founding into a village. We went to a fortress that was really a cabin. We didn't fight some birds, but we also fought some birds. We met some weird guy who doesn't know anything about farming.
Oh my god,
and
that
was
guy.
very misaligned with his religion. But then we set him straight, and we saved the river, and we explored a cave, and we found this stuff.
Oh,
They
show you the
full
loot.
of scrolls and potions. Just near a bunch of water skins, it's just like a sack full of scrolls, and then another one full of like different potions.
If you guys ever make it to Critterton, that's the village we founded, make sure to mention that you're friends with the superhero god saviors, but we're none of those things.
We are not those things, so...
Just like a little nosebleed.
Verkis, you take 5 psychic damage. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, just because with Verkis's background and who he is as an individual, can I do an insight check if they're just full of shit?
You may certainly do one, and
Okay.
yeah, just roll an insight check for me. Tide and Kastan, what are your just baseline double-digit like charisma numbers?
I have a 19 to charisma.
What was
I
yours,
have
Kastan?
15.
15. Okay, cool.
That's a 19.
So with the 19, you can tell that they're leaving out a few clarifying details, but they're being honest and earnest. Yeah, sincere.
And you just hear Verkis just, I need to remember this for another tale. Remember. Superhero Godlord.
Superhero gods, save the
Superhero.
Right before this started, in my head, I was like, Verkis is going to take this story and try to say it was him.
Kastan would absolutely be like, my cousin was there. He did all of those things.
He did all the work.
All of that
he took
happened
down
exactly
all
as
of
he
the
said.
giant frogs. King Matumba was destroyed.
Matumba.
I think that was his name.
That was his name. Yeah.
Great. I did not write that down.
Well, it was yesterday, so that's good.
Hopefully, yeah.
/ earlier today, depending on in-game. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
You didn't catch the name of the other giant frogs, but they would have had similar names.
I didn't think that they would have names, considering the ability to which they could speak.
True. That int of 2 is tough to roleplay for sure.
Fighting, stop. Fighting, stop. Okay.
Wow, it sounds like you guys had a crazy trip. Oh my gosh.
We also included sketches for them to create their own armor and battle gear, but we'll see if that actually takes.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
you guys left good instructions to Master Craig there, the head of the community.
Master Craig. The
He's a
Raven?
raven.
The elderly raven who's the village elder. So yes.
Oh. So this was like basically Ferngully.
Kinda. We just weren't fighting a giant pollution smog monster. We fought like
with a
Velociraptor
velvety
off.
singing voice, but
So, based on your maps, despite the delay, you guys think if you travel with haste today, you can make up for lost time and be on track to arrive at the Mound of Mulcarian. So you would travel the rest of this day. You would have one more day of travel, and then that next morning you would arrive at the Mound of Mulcarian, probably after just an hour or two more of hiking.
all right.
Cool.
Or you could arrive later in the day on that day of arrival if you take more time to travel at a lighter pace today. Kind of up to you guys how you want to do that.
The horses have been resting all morning. I feel like they're very well fed. They're ready to ride. I mean, maybe Kastan could speak with them and see if they're willing to take us at a fast pace.
And what's the terrain we're in?
It's going to be very similar to the terrain you've encountered over the last 24 hours. It's going to be grassy hills, but not super high grass. The hills are rolling. None of them are super high. No massive changes in elevation. Kind of sparse forests here and there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
a
we're
couple
leaving
rocky
the Shire.
hills. Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, just the region like slightly east of the Shire.
Okay.
Not quite as rocky as like a region, but yeah. So.
But not a forest.
There are some forests along the path that you could
Okay.
venture into, but lightly like
meadowlands, prairie lands
Mhm.
with
Exactly.
some sparse forests.
Exactly.
I was trying to see if my favorite terrain could come into play, but I don't think it would.
What is Verkis' favorite terrain?
Forest.
Forest. Okay. Well, actually, just to play into that, you guys notice that the path on most of the maps recommended, there's like a not a road, but like a well-trodden trail that goes close to the Mound of Malkaran. So initially, you would have planned to take that route, and then just as it kind of curves west, to like hike a couple hours off trail and get to the Mound of Malkaran. But you notice that there are forests that it would normally take you a little bit longer, but with Verkis in the lead, if that's his favorite terrain, you might get there in the same amount of time. It's kind of a question of, do you want to risk encounters along this well-trodden trail or encounters with possible creatures in the forest?
I think we can. I think we can take whatever's in the forest. Honestly, as long as there's a route that we can take with the horses and the cart, we should be fine.
That's my concern, is making sure we can still go with the horses in the cart.
We can also we also have a view from the sky to be able to maneuver. So
Yeah.
I could make the cart smaller.
So without having to make the cart smaller, which is an awesome option though, between Tide's Owl and Verkis's knowledge of the region around Havenhearth and stuff, you guys are pretty sure that most, like 90% of these forests aren't going to be dense enough to where it'd be a travel concern for your horses and cart. And so you're confident that, avoiding the occasional denser clump of trees, you could maneuver just fine. So it won't really. Oh, go ahead.
No, so we could also, if we are going to encounter someone, we could set up beforehand.
That's true, with the owl scouting ahead from the sky.
So we could
You're right.
avoid or surprise if we need to.
Absolutely. The rest of the day then goes well. I would like you guys, as you travel through the forest, between Verkis's expert forestmanship and Tide's Owl scouting ahead, the day goes really smooth. The weather's nice. The horses are energized from resting all morning, so the day's travel goes by really quick. Can I just have, from anyone who wants to make it, a survival check to find a good camping spot for the night?
Kastan's not worried about it. He's overly focused on listening to Olive play her tiny little harpsichord.
Yes, the rest of the party notices that Olive has a tiny little custom-made harpsichord. Yes.
Oh yeah. She's not very good yet.
And what is Olive again? I cannot remember.
It's called a louche. It's a tiny little fae creature.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Can I do a perception check from the sky instead of a survival check, or would you rather?
And I can do a survival.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can team up on that.
Again, at this point, there's really no option for failure unless someone rolls a nat 1. It's just how good of a spot do you guys find? So, and Kastan, while they're rolling that, can you roll a performance for Olive, please, as she plays her little instrument?
Yeah, I'm gonna guidance her.
Hopefully it cancels out her negative charisma.
Oh, God.
So we're currently under the Eye of Haldoon, which gives us a +1 to charisma.
It's true.
So she has a -2 to charisma currently for a total of 9.
But remember, her because that instrument was custom made for her, she gets her proficiency, exactly.
So that would be a total of 11.
Nice. So she plays what sounds vaguely like music. It's not super annoying, but it's not great. But it's music. It qualifies.
Kastan's loving it.
It's so magical.
Yeah.
I'm like laying down on Bub as we ride. Like I'm laying like this, like his neck is supporting me. My feet are going over his butt. I'm like barely holding onto this horse. One wrong move and I'm falling off.
I love it.
I got a 19 perception.
And I got a 23 survival.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so between those two awesome rolls, you guys do find a kind of a dense area of trees that almost form a rough ring around a little area to where you do have to find like there's one gap in the trees where you can bring the horses in, but otherwise there's lots of trees inside and pretty soft ground. It's pretty closed off from the rest of the forest, so it'd be a great camping spot for the night. If someone keeps watch, it'll be super easy to keep an eye on things because there's very few convenient routes in and out of this little area, so great camping spot.
I can take the first watch.
Sweet. All right, so Verkis will take a first watch. Who else volunteers for the 2 or 3 more night shift things?
I'll take second.
Sweet. So
I'll take third.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, splitting it all 4 ways, you guys just have a couple hours on watch, makes it nice and easy. Everyone can maximize sleep, so...
I'll probably stay up. I'll probably sleep during Verkis and Eremos' watch, and then stay up with Tide for his watch.
Perfect. That's great.
I got a nat 20 on my watch.
Okay, so I was going to say nothing happens unless someone rolls a 1 or a 20. So,
I rolled a 20. What happens?
Before, I'm so sorry.
The forest burns down.
The before whatever
that.
happens during Tide's watch, I was wanting to do something during my watch.
absolutely go for it. Yeah.
So
Good
during
night, cousin.
Good night. Remember the story. Remember the story. Remember.
I'll write it down
as-
for you.
As Verkis is kind of keeping watch, he begins to stare into the fire, and the word story continues to go over and over in his brain, and he looks into the fire, and in Draconic he says, "Tell me your story." And as he does, a small red drake appears from the fire, named Tvusa.
Ooh.
I am a Drake Warden now.
Let's go.
And I kind of stare at him for a moment, and he does speak Draconic with me.
Now describe this little, like, how big is he? What color are his scales?
So he's considered small.
Okay.
Spell his name.
So his name is Tvusa.
Tvusa.
Tvusa. In Draconic, that means story.
Ah,
I love that.
And so Tvusa is smaller currently, very proud stature, a little on the kind of slender side as well. Kind of looks like one of the like a smaller, almost like a hatchling drake currently. And spines and thicker scales along the ridge, horns beginning to protrude from the skull, and is currently has crimson red and black scales. So currently his affinity is fire, but once per day I can change his affinity.
Oh, cool. So he can, hypothetically, as he gets older, that can change like what type of breath weapon he has and stuff?
Yes. During my levels he changes. He gets bigger.
Nice.
Eventually can become a mount.
Sweet.
But currently I'm able to imbue whatever affinity he has into one attack.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
So for any of us.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
I dig it. And eventually he'll be able to fly, right?
Yes, and that's when I get my other level.
Nice. Very cool.
Oh.
Well, Verkis, this little fire drake comes out of the fire and you feel an immediate connection and affinity to it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And we just start like guttural growls to each other and just having conversation through the night.
I wake up to this. I'm just like, my God.
Sounds like I'm very jealous.
Caston's been talking to animals. Verkis is talking to fire. I guess I'll take my watch now.
And so my watch begins.
So my watch begins.
Awesome.
So I'm on second watch, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So during my watch, I keep a vigilant eye out for most of it, but at one point, being this far removed from civilization, there's just a vast starscape over the campsite, and for some reason, it just seems brighter to Eremos, and it just seems serene, tranquil, inviting, and powerful. And he feels a connection that he's never felt with the stars up to this point. He fondly remembers Hirgon and the prophecy and the fate of the star reader.
That is beautiful. I would like you to make a wisdom or intelligence saving throw, whichever's higher. And there's no possibility of failure here. Just the higher you roll, there might be some extra bonus to the serenity that Eremos is already feeling. Because I love that. That's delightful. 21. Excellent. So Eremos, as you're looking up at the stars, it's hard to describe, but you feel like you can spot a constellation that isn't really there, and it reminds you of Hirgon, and you just get this feeling that you can ask it like one question, and it will probably answer you.
Thinking of Hirgon, I ask it, were you satisfied with your life?
Ooh, that's a good question. You feel like a pause and like an anticipation build up, and then the final answer is yes, but I'm eager for the new chapters that are to come. And that's the answer you get.
Nice.
Yep.
I like that answer.
So that's the answer you get. And so when your watch ends, Kastan wakes up, and Eremos, you just have a sense of peace and serenity as you go to sleep and let Kastan take over the watch.
I give him a double fist bump.
Nice. So Kastan,
Kastan's not sure what to do with that, so he just like takes your hands and shakes them real quick.
nice.
It's like
Stick shift.
So yeah, I wake up. Olive is still sleeping in her little hammock pocket thing.
Nice.
And I'm just kind of like looking around, also taking appreciation of the stars. And as I look up, I am horrified because I realize that we are now moving under position of the Hand of Dinrak, known to bring horrible misfortune. And so I'm just kind of keeping an eye out, but I'm fearful of what the day may bring.
Kastan, I would like you to make a wisdom or intelligence saving throw as well.
Okay. We'll do wisdom save. An 8.
Oh no. Okay, give me 1 second to so as you're go ahead.
I actually need to look up something before I say 8 because it might be lower than that.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, hold on. It's actually going to be a 5 total.
Oh,
The Hand of Dinrak strikes.
Yes. So I am going to really quick just I am going to slightly modify the Hand of Dinrak because it feels a little bit overpowering in a bad way. First off, how long did we agree that these last?
Just until the next long rest, but that was the intention for this one because I have to roll a 1.
Right.
In order to get it.
Right. Okay, so yeah, well, it says that everyone's under the Bane spell. Which
Not
means,
everyone, just me.
Oh, so whenever you make an attack roll or a saving throw, you take a d4 and subtract that from the roll, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the Hand of Dinrak.
Yes, but it's just for one long rest. Okay, so
yeah,
but
the
with
Hand
that,
of Dinrak takes.
It balances out because there's some days where like really cool shit happens. Like
Right, so
like the temporary hit points.
Right, so just so you guys know, before the campaign started, I worked with Josh to come up with a set of 12 constellations that are on my star map that I've, taken from the night sky. And so each one has, an effect. And so odd numbers are negative effects and even numbers are positive effects. And I've been lucky so far, rolling only even numbers. This is the first odd number I've rolled.
Okay.
Oh.
So. But yes, that is good. So so with that constellation though, with the Hand of Dinrak showing up, Kastan, and with that low wisdom save, you kind of you've been you've been studying the constellations for a while, so you're like, hey, this happens, it's gonna pass, but as you're on your watch trying to keep an eye on things, your vigilance just kind of spirals into rumination, and you're thinking of, okay, this next day of travel is going to be our last full day of travel before the Mound of Malkarian, and it just kind of freaks you out and stuff, and you just get in a really kind of anxious, hyper-vigilant mindset. So for the first 12 hours of the day, I will impose an additional minus D4 to any charisma or wisdom checks.
I have to take off 2 D4 from wisdom and charisma checks.
Just for the first 12 hours of the next day, yes.
Kassan's doing nothing this day.
After lunchtime, we're fine.
Yes. After lunch, you'll be like, okay, I feel better. Or if you take some time to meditate or do deep breathing exercises, I would allow that to kind of dissuade it as well. So
Kassan's in full-on panic mode at this point.
Well, despite your anxiety, the rest of your watch goes uneventfully. And then, Tide, you wake up after a good long rest, and you know that there's just about 2.5 hours until the sun rises and everyone gets ready for breakfast. So because you rolled a 20, as you're taking your watch, Kastan, do you stay awake with Tide or do you go to sleep?
I think I actually wake him up because I'm panicking so much. So I run over to Tide. I'm like, Tide, wake up. I think you need to take over for me because I don't think I can do this.
I immediately just druid craft some nice smells. There's some just lavender poof, and it's give me a second. Right there.
I'm just sticking a little too close to you right now since you're the only one conscious.
Just right up against him, yeah.
As I sit up, he's also sitting up.
I love it.
I was laying down, wake up, and we sit up.
So as Tide and a very clingy Kastan take the final watch of the night, in the morning, right before the sun rises, so twilight's kind of glistening on the horizon as it starts to turn to morning light, a half a dozen rabbits in a little family come nearby and start grazing, and you guys just get the vibe that they're kind of looking at you more than most rabbits. They're just kind of giving you guys a lot of attention. So
they're going to eat us.
Kastan, no.
Do you guys do anything with that, or just let it go?
Kassan's just panicking silently, just holding on to Tide,
as these very average-sized rabbits just are kind of munching and looking at you as they go back and forth between grazing and watching you.
Agents of Dinrak, they're going to hurt us.
Kassan, it's worse.
It's just like the frogs.
No, it's still worse. Our celebrityhood has spread, even after days of travel.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I think these are some groupies of bunnies.
I wave at them cautiously.
They kind of all stop and their ears go up and they just watch you as you wave. Can Tide and Kastan roll insight checks, please, on these rabbits?
15.
17.
That's awesome, Charles. So a 17, and what was the first number? And what was the first?
I got
number?
a 15.
Okay, so with a 15, you can tell that the rabbits are not hostile. First off, which is good.
Yeah,
you both can see that. And then additionally, with the 17, you get the vibe that they haven't seen very many humanoids, and they're curious, and they also might have a message. You're not sure.
I will go ahead and cast my Speak with Animals. using a spell slot.
Okay.
Because I don't have time to prepare this. I need to know.
Okay, I was gonna say though, like, with your high insight check, you do get the vibe that they're still grazing for a while, so you could ritual cast it if you want, so you could save the spell slot for us today. Yeah,
Great.
you get the vibe that they're patient, they're not going anywhere. So.
Breathe.
Okay, you're right.
It's gonna be
you're
fine.
Right.
Look,
I should
and I'll
speak
just
with them. Okay.
I make them some bunny flower food. I'm just like, here you go. Like,
yeah, they approach cautiously, but they start nibbling on the food you lay out for them, for sure.
Start chittering with them, like.
It's been a day of this.
So, Castan, as you cast it, one of the rabbits who is the biggest of the group, again, it's an average-sized rabbit, but it just looks like the oldest and most well-fed of this little presumable family of rabbits, kind of looks up at you and goes, "Oh yes, hello."
Hi. Have you heard of us?
Should I have?
Nope, just asking.
Okay.
Are you here to hurt us?
Well, we saw that you are camping here, and not many big folk like yourself go through these parts. I wanted to ask what your business is here and see if we might persuade you to go a different route.
We're here to sleep. Why would we go a different route, Tide? They're telling us to go a different way.
Oh, we're just passing through.
I can't understand what your companion says. Can you translate for him?
What's he saying?
We're saying that he wants me to translate for you. He's saying that we want to go ahead and just pass right on through. We don't plan on staying long.
What is your ultimate destination? The rabbit asks.
Really, we're trying to get, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's called the Mound of Mulkurian.
Ah, yes, that is that strange stone structure a couple days travel from here.
A day, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I suppose for bigger folk you could travel more, and your four-legged companions could get you there quicker. I understand. I would recommend waiting some time before you travel that way. There's been rumors and rumblings of late, and I wouldn't take any of my warren to go there. Thank you, Eremos, for the warren little jargon. He goes, yes, I wouldn't take my warren there, and I would suggest you don't either. Take the long way around. Arc south, maybe a little bit west, and then turn back north. Avoid the forest the rest of the way.
Why is that? What's going on in the forest? There's something wrong with the forest.
My owl's translating now. It's
okay.
To this. we have this just a little side for you two. When Keston has to speak with Amazon, and if I have my familiar nearby, I don't need to wait for the translation. Just storytell narratively, like my owl will telepathically tell me what is happening.
Sounds good.
Didn't notice your owl, so Kastan looks at him and was like, oh, that's yours. Okay.
I'm just like, he's real jumpy today, so just
so just for some added fun, as the rabbit's telling you this, Kastan, can you make an additional insight check to if the rabbit's being truthful or not? I mean, I kind of want you to fail really badly, so there's miscommunication for hilarity, you know?
I mean, there's a high likelihood I will. Okay.
I tap him on the shoulder, give him a guidance.
Okay, good. That helped offset it some.
Oh, okay, well, I have to roll another d4 then. Okay, so the d4 I rolled for Bane completely negates my addition to Insight. But then I got a 2 for the guidance, and I rolled an 18, so that's 20.
Oh, dope.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you can tell that this rabbit is being upfront with you, and is just kind of generally concerned for your safety. But you also do get a vibe that this rabbit is a little jumpy, pun intended. No, he might be overstating the issue. It might not actually be something that dangerous. It might be something that would be dangerous to some average sized rabbits, but you just get the vibe that you're like this based on like his comments about the travel time and big focus stuff, you're like, this might actually be a pretty run of the mill thing that we don't need to worry about.
This is like the fortress.
Potentially.
It was a cabin.
Point. Yeah, definitely change in perception. Sir Rabbit, we appreciate the advice. However, we're confident we can continue forward. If you're looking for safety, and I direct them to Critterton.
Oh,
please speak with
the rabbit, as you tell him about
Craig.
He goes, okay, I've never heard of such a place. Can you please draw it for me on a map of some kind.
Show it to him on your star map.
I pull out my star map, but the whole thing displays.
All 6 rabbits stop grazing and they look at the star map like, ooh. They're all wide-eyed.
And so, I'm assuming right now it's kind of like dawn a little bit, so the sky's turning lighter. The stars are still visible, but maybe not quite as much. And so my star map overlays with what's currently there.
Oh, cool.
And then kind of orients itself to where we're at in the world. And so it'll be about a half a day, probably a day's travel for you that way. And when you get there, you can ask for Barnard. He's kind of like the mayor, I guess. Or you can ask for Master Craig. He's like one of the head council members. Not that they really have that. But tell them that the superhero god saviors sent you, but we're not those things. And they'll be sure to house you and care for you. You can join their community.
I walk up to the edge of where the star map is displaying. I get a piece of paper, and then I poke holes where the stars are. I'm like, here you go.
Well, the rabbit kind of reaches up his little hands and takes it and looks and he goes,
put it in the sky, and when the stars line up, that's the direction you want to go.
Ah, I understand. That is a very intelligent way of making a map. Thank you. This is quite a long journey for us. We've never traveled that far north, but joining a larger community sounds interesting. And then one of the other rabbits kind of hops up to him and whispers in his ear to where you can't hear. And then the rabbit goes, excellent question. Turns and goes, what kind of economy do they have? What system of governance do they use? We should know before we migrate there.
I think they're still figuring that out. It's still relatively new as a community, so that might be something interesting for you to go in and possibly assist in helping flourish.
The rabbit nods and goes, I hope they have a regulated capitalist system or a well-run socialist system. That would be ideal for us, but thank you. And the rabbits all kind of hop off happily.
It's as they walk off, those rabbits are going to...
I'm
like, those rabbits are going to take over the town.
Probably in a bad way.
They're going to find the plans we left for weapons and armor for critters.
They're going to become
That's going to be our follow-on campaign. Their campaign 2,000 years later.
We're going to play Critter Folk.
The rabbits have split off in their own civil war. No, I'm just kidding.
We just created the Haragon.
There are Critter Folk races that we could play.
We just created the Haragon.
That's what we were saying, though. We were like, this is where Haragons are coming from. This is where you're going to start getting a lot of the Aarakocra are coming from here.
I agree. Redwall.
Yeah, I love it, guys. Well, anyway, with your 20, that was the heads up, is that there might be something dangerous, perhaps, in the forests that lie between you and the Mound of Mulcarian. But otherwise, you've given these rabbits a nice map. They've gone off for the day. You gave them some food. The sun rises and everyone wakes up on the start of your final full day of travel on the way to the Mound of Mulcarian.
Good morning, everyone. We're in danger.
He's okay. He's just a little jumpy today.
The Hand of Dinrak aches. Okay? I cannot stress that enough. The rabbits said there was danger and we should go south before doubling back north.
Gaston, I love your frantic warning just to start the morning off. Everyone!
As you do this, Tvusa, who is kind of on Verkis' shoulder, the head just pops up, just...
Gaston, bow and arrow.
I truly don't know if
I can.
Cousin, this is my friend Tvusa. New friend.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, Tvusa. Usually his jumpiness is more happy. This is interesting.
Call it Olive. That's a new friend, Tvusa. We don't harm them. Okay.
Tvusa, don't eat it.
Her.
I apologize. Her.
She forgives you.
So I presume that as you all... I love that. We're going to start tracking the friendship XP between Olive and Tvusa. No, I'm just kidding. As they level up, they can get teamwork abilities. I'm open to
Suddenly,
it. If you guys want.
she's riding on Tvusa at one point, just like firing little arrows from it.
Yes. Or she just takes on a bard role. She's just playing like her guitar while he spouts flames. Yeah.
Literally, all she does
Fury
is
Road
roll out
style.
bardic inspiration.
Yes.
I will say currently he does not have a breath weapon.
Okay, good to know.
Currently he just has a bite attack.
And I figure it's
So
like
does she.
1d4
Olive
piercing.
can fight too.
Nice.
Sweet.
I feel like Tvusa is exceptionally larger than Olive.
Yes, yeah. Her bite attack does 1 piercing damage total.
Charles, how big is Tvusa? About the size of like a cat, or?
I would say Tvusa is probably the size of like
Mushu from Mulan.
a little bigger.
Mushu
I was
size? I like that. Okay.
Described it, or,
Yeah,
wait,
Tvusa is considered small. Like I kind of
wait, no, because humanoids are medium, and so like a halfling would be small.
right.
Oh, okay.
So I would
he's
say
like a large dog almost.
Yeah, like probably
Okay.
the size of a large dog.
Oh.
I would say probably as he erupted from the flame, like slowly expanded and ate the fire a little
he
bit.
kinda grew, but-
So Tvusa is about the size, I would say probably the size of like a golden retriever.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say corgi size, but golden retriever is much bigger.
No, you're probably right on that. He's probably more the size of like a Shiba Inu.
Cool.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
dig
yeah,
it.
my mom has one. I love her.
I'm imagining his tail curls up similarly.
Ow, I love that.
And when he's happy, just
Nice. I like it. Well,
a little bit of a curl.
Ramos takes a knee and quietly greets Tvusa and Draconic.
Yeah. Tvusa just kind of looks back. It's very disjointed, still kind of learning, but responds with friend.
And I put a ration on the ground.
Frogs.
I believe Tvusa might be food motivated.
I think a lot of us are. Not
Yeah.
speaking for myself, but yeah.
Mhm.
Well, awesome. So as you guys meet the newest member of your party, Tvusa, make sure everyone has a long rest in terms of spell slots and everything like that, and health. As you all eat breakfast, I assume Tide and Kastan would tell you all about the rabbit's cryptic warning. So do you guys want to heed that advice and tack on like an extra 2 days to your travel to avoid this, or do you want to power through it? What's everyone's consensus?
They're rabbits.
I think as paranoid and moderately terrified as Kastan is, he does, after Tide had pointed out like with the Fortress V cabin kind of situation we went through, that he's weary and reserved about it, but still willing to just maintain the course.
I say we do not take a 2-day diversion at the heat of rabbits.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, everybody, fine.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll say to Kastan, cousin, I will be more vigilant, if that'll make you feel better.
Kastan is going to be right here with you all day.
I would like to give Kastan one of these Tide leaf petals just for him to chill out for at least 30 minutes.
Here's some weed.
please smoke this.
Kastan, while you are under the influence of that leaf, that extra 1d4 you got subtract from things is negated. So
Okay.
So we're going to fast forward to the day of travel goes by fine. You guys decide to keep on your route for the Mound of Malkarian. So as the sun starts to set over the horizon, the forest is getting...
I'm riding on Verkis's horse behind him. Like, he's next to us. I'm just fully not using him. I'm like, don't let me fall, cousin.
So I would like all of you to make perception checks as you're nearing the end of your day's travel. Verkis, we are in forest favored terrain, so that would give you a bonus to perception checks, right?
It would give me advantage, I believe.
Excellent.
Let me check just to make sure.
21.
Ooh, Eremos, nice 19, tied 21. Dang, you guys are vigilant. Kastan got to you all.
Oh no, my proficiency bonus is doubled.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Expertise.
Nice.
I remain alert to danger even when I'm engaged in another activity.
Nice.
We can move stealthily at a normal pace.
Nice.
And we find twice as much food when foraging. And if we are tracking creatures, I learn the exact number, size, and how long ago they passed through the area.
Dude, that's awesome. So question for you guys then, given Verkis's forest travel expertise, would you all be traveling stealthily at normal pace, or would you be going at a regular pace unstealthy and you'd be moving a little bit quicker to potentially get to the Mound of Mulcarian potentially that night or earlier the next morning?
I'm traveling with Verkis, so
Yeah.
I think we're in Verkis's terrain, so I think it would be his call as we were going.
I'd say get there faster.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we got eyes on the sky. You can navigate this terrain really well.
Right, exactly. And my perception was a 26.
Nice.
Oh, dang. Okay. So, with such high rolls from the party and with Verkis's expertise, here's what happens. You guys are moving through this forest. You're not holding to any certain path or anything. You're just kind of taking the way that Verkis leads you, which is just the most expeditious way through the forest. Now, as you're moving, Verkis, you see way ahead in the trees, you see some trees that have fallen down. But with your forest expertise, you're able to realize, even from a far distance, that these don't look like they were struck by lightning or, started to die and fell on their own. These look like they were knocked over. And so you are concerned that there is some kind of larger creature that might be around. So that's your first kind of sign that there could be some credence to the rabbit's claims about some sort of danger.
So these definitely did not fall through natural means.
Are we under attack?
Awesome.
Do I see like a trick? So like if this thing accidentally stumbled on, do I see like from above like a trail of trees that have been fallen, or is it just these that are specifically fallen here?
How high up does your owl fly, Tide?
It can be 100 feet above me while still communicating with me telepathically.
Perfect. So, on the very edge of your owl's vision, and owls have good night vision. So even though it's evening time and the sky is darkening rapidly, you do see on the very edge of your owl's sight, you see a strange-looking little hill, kind of at the edge of the forest. Like when the forest ends, there's a little bit of plains, and then this weird little hill with some stones. You're pretty sure that's the Mound of Mulcarian, so you guys are close. But you also, from the air, would see that there are some scattered areas where it looks like the trees have been knocked down in a weird way. And combined with Verkis's noticing of that, you're not really able to discern a path, but it seems like something is moving in these forests and knocking down little clumps of trees at a time. So you don't see any actively moving, but it's a sign that, again, with Verkis's expertise, you're like, there could be larger creatures here that are doing this, and so maybe the rabbit was onto something.
Okay.
And but again, Verkis, because of your high perception and your forest craft, you notice this very far out. You guys are like 250 feet from these trees, so you can move around them or approach more cautiously. You just have a lot of advance notice on this one troubling sign.
Perhaps proceed with caution.
Yeah, if it's going to deter us too much to go around, I think we can deal with it.
Yeah.
I could probably move some of the trees.
What was that, Eremos?
I could probably move some of the trees, if they're blocking our path.
Oh yeah, so thankfully they're not blocking the path, but it's just kind of a sign of animals. The ones that have fallen, you can kind of move around it, So I think, Kastan, you don't need to roll for that leaf. I think it would just calm your nerves to where it just negates that. Well, and actually it's been more than 12 hours since this morning, so you're back to just the regular Hand of Dinrak effect.
But but there are effects that
okay.
that the leaf actually does.
Ooh.
So we can be calm, but like, let's see what happens to him. Let me post it in my character channel. We'll do this on the side.
Okay. So then as you guys proceed cautiously, while Castan is trying to figure out how he feels on that leaf that he smoked, Verkis, kind of keeping your previous high perception rolls from before, as you guys proceed cautiously, you do see up ahead, kind of hiding behind some trees, there are some small figures, humanoid-esque, with, it looks like, spears or swords. They look to be about 4.5, 5 feet tall. And there are some other lower to the ground, bigger creatures kind of nearby them, also hiding behind trees. So it looks like there is some sort of ambush set up ahead. But because you're noticing it so far ahead, you guys could either charge in and kind of take the initiative back. You could try to stealth around. That'd be a little difficult, but it's possible. Or you could call out and try to like negotiate. Like, you have a bunch of options because you see it well in advance of when they would expect you to see it, presumably.
So with my abilities in this being my favorite terrain, I know the exact number
Yes.
that is there. So how many am I dealing with?
You are dealing with, give me one moment here.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very helpful and awesome. Give me one.
I like trees.
It sounds like maybe I'm not the only forest boy here.
So you know the total number, and did you know the type as well, or just number?
Let me see. I know the exact number, the exact size, and how long ago they passed through the area. I wouldn't know exactly what they are. I would have to do a survival check for that, which I'm happy to do.
Yeah, please make that actually.
No, natural 1.
Okay.
The Hand of Dinrak tape.
What are you trying to gauge?
What they are, what we were dealing with.
Can I give him advantage if I'm if I'm looking with my owl? I can kind of describe what I'm looking at, and he can kind of like tell me what it is. Maybe I don't know what they are, but he might.
Yeah, please give him advantage with your owl's help. Absolutely.
And I'll tap
Can
you
I
on the
add
shoulder and give you a
guidance?
guide. There you go.
Oh, I get a guidance too? Hell yeah. That's a D4,
Yeah, if I'm
right?
allowed to add.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a D4.
Okay, so I rolled a 4 on the D4.
Nice.
And
The Hand of Kistan gives.
19.
The Hand
20
of Dinrak and the Hand of Castan.
25.
There we go.
Awesome.
Nice.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
Verkis, for a second you look over and you're like, I think this is a bunch of halfling farmers. And then
he's not getting it, then I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
And
then Tide's
Just a
owl
little
does a
too
swoop,
tight.
and yeah,
These farmers have ill intents.
and then Tide just says, like, keep an eye on any sharp angles based on what he's seeing. And then Verkis, you look harder and you're like, wait a second, like, these are definitely gnolls, which are
Oh,
kind
damn
of
it.
hyena-like kind of, scavengers and ravagers. There's 9 of them, and it looks like they have 5 like boars with big tusks as kind of like warhounds. So there's 14 potential enemies total, 9 gnolls, 5 boars, all kind of waiting in an ambush for you guys. So
14.
Yeah, 9 gnolls, 5 boars. And again, with such a high roll, you would know that, and however your character would gauge this, but you know that the gnolls have about 22 HP and the boars have about 11. So you can kind of gauge how strong they are.
That's concerning that they're. What do you all think?
I think we need
one other
to
thing
run.
you would notice that of the gnolls with such a high roll that a couple of them have bows, but most of them just have spears. So their ranged capabilities are very limited.
I think we could maybe have one of us, Eremos probably, walk up with the cart, and then the 3 of us could get into position from range and then surprise and then kind of get the field back, but then that still puts us in a sticky situation.
Truthfully, I think we can probably take them because there were 9 gnolls.
9
Mhm.
gnolls.
Yeah, and so between the 4 of us, it's going to be hard, but I think we can do it. The boars aren't going to be a significant problem, and
Is there a way
I
for us
think
to
we can.
contain them or make the terrain around them more difficult for them to get around?
Yeah, I could definitely cast a spell for that.
Because if we could limit their movement at least for a few rounds.
One thing for
I
you
can
guys to
cast.
consider real quick though is I just wanted to clarify this. So it seems like they've set up an ambush point fairly like semi-knowingly of your route. So based on your guys' overall high perception scores and Verkis's knowledge, Verkis, you would guess that one of the gnolls, maybe 2, had scouted and seen you guys and figured you were going towards the Mound of Mulcarian. So they kind of set up an ambush. So they know roughly where you'll be traveling, but they haven't seen you yet. So stealth is an option for you guys for whoever wants to be stealthed leading up to that. Just wanted to put that
And
out there.
Verkis can stealthily move us through.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys could
So
evade the encounter
maybe
entirely. Potentially. There would be some challenge to it, but yeah. Like you'd have to roll overall stealth checks. It'd be somewhat challenging, but not impossible. So
keep in mind, Kastan is severely impeded today.
How close are we?
I figure at this point you spotted them from afar. I'd say you're about 400 feet away. Like I just want to give you tons of room to maneuver however you guys want to do it because you've got so much advantage in terms of the perception. You know what I mean?
And Keston, how do you feel?
So Matthew, the player, is like, pretty sure we can do this. Kastan, we need to flee.
The rabbits were right. The rabbits were right.
Have gone south. These are agents of Dinrak. Like, we need to flee. But yeah, I think that we could come up with something to successfully either take this into combat, or if we want to stealth, like either is an option.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had really good success dividing and conquering the goblin patrols. Could we lure a group or 2 of them out from the main force, dispatch them, and then lay siege?
I mean, it depends on how you guys say you want to do that, but that's definitely a potential option. Yeah.
So my thought process was that Verkis and I could stealth around, maybe to the side of where they're at, while Eremos and Tide kind of lie in wait from another direction, be it straight on or from the opposite side. And then once we're within range, I could cast Entangle on a group of them to hamper as many as possible, because some of them will likely fail the strength save. Others will, succeed, but it's still difficult terrain for them to get through. And then from that point, we'll be able to, those of us who have ranged abilities, will be able to pick off those within the entanglement. And then Eremos, being our primary upfront person, can start picking off those who are outside of the entanglement, or those who are able to successfully save and exit the entanglement.
Yeah. And I'm more in the upfront.
More melee than range.
I'm more melee than ranged as well, but mine is more like I dash in and out a lot.
Okay.
And so with that, you would be able to, once you've successfully led us around to the side, you can dash in and then handle combat however best fits your.
And yeah, no, I really like that plan. And does Tide know thaumaturgy?
Tide does not know thaumaturgy.
Okay.
I know prestidigitation.
Well, because I'm wondering, I gained the thaumaturgy cantrip for becoming a Drake Warden. Mm-hmm. So we could lure them into a trap a little bit ourselves, like trap the trappers.
Yeah. I could probably definitely copy some effects with a combination of like prestidigitation and druidcraft. Because druidcraft, I think I can move.
I mean, I could even druidcraft.
Yeah, I can do like harmless sensory effects. Like I can make sounds of nature and animals and odors.
Caw, caw.
Nice example of druidcraft.
It's just a little light in my hand that starts cawing.
I love it. What's the plan, guys? These are all solid suggestions. I'm loving it.
I would love to go with Kastan's idea.
Eremos, you also want to stealth around and come think this way? Okay.
I don't want to stealth. I want to just.
I was thinking Eremos wants to take his horse, and his surprise round is full dashing with his horse and bashing someone over the head.
You
with
can
his
take
weapon.
all of the horses, like literally lead a charge of our horses,
and then we'll attack from the sides.
And then we can attack from the tree line.
Yeah, that sounds
then
good.
we can, with a combination of like Druidcraft with me, Kastan, and then Verkis' Thaumaturgy, we can make it sound more menacing as you guys are stampeding in.
I love that.
And then just start attacking.
Look at whatever was just posted. Yes, the Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's,
I was thinking Eremos is like Jon Snow, also just in that Battle of the Bastards, just going in.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds like an awesome plan. So it sounds like I just want to make sure I'm understanding so I can lay out the battlefield properly. Eremos is going to charge with the horses coming from the direction that these ambushers are expecting, while Tide, Kastan, and Verkis are going to flank around from the side and ambush them as they're prepping to meet Eremos. So that way it's a pincer movement where they're getting flanked and surprised from the rear, and then Eremos is charging forward to hit them hard from the front, right?
I think a great way to do this too would be to have Eremos leading the horses just at a regular pace, and then once you're within range of sight and you see the entanglement get cast, then you can start charging.
Oh, that's how. Yeah. Charge once the entanglement is kind of the ambush has been initiated. I like that.
Yeah, when they jump out of their spots and into the
right.
Perfect.
And I would be casting a Hunter's Mark on one of them.
And I would be casting Shield of Faith on myself.
Perfect.
Yeah. I would use my bonus action to use an Archer Starry form. And then once the entanglement is cast, fire a shot from that Starry bow.
Nice.
And then I'm going to have, as we're walking up, positioning ourselves, I would like to ritual cast Have Detect Magic going.
Cool.
I love that.
Okay, and here's how we're gonna play this. So I've got.
We are ready.
I love it.
So as an added thing, we can also, once the combat has started, those of us who took Conjure Animals scrolls can use that to get additional allies to assist us.
I've been thinking about that as well. Yeah.
I think if we need to, I think that we have enough to do ourselves. But like, if in a pinch, like we summon a bunch of wolves, like
yeah. Okay, cool.
I, being the group squishy, would like to, if everyone's okay with that, take the potion of piercing resistance.
Yeah.
That way, if I'm at a distance, they're probably going to be shooting stuff at me. So
yeah, go for it. I'll take
bottoms up.
Yeah.
I shape water it. I put it into my tankard, and I started drinking it from there.
It tastes a little bit minty, but otherwise it doesn't taste like much. So,
it's like a julep.
Yeah.
A little bit of a mojito.
Since
that sounds good. Why?
Nice and refreshing right before battle.
Yeah,
right. Awesome.
It's for brunch.
We'll kind of, however the initiative plays out, we'll start with Kastan initiating the ambush with Entangle, and then we'll just kind of go from there. You know what I mean?
He's going to need a lot of coaching from those that are with him because remember, Matthew is the player. Loves this plan. Kastan wants to run away.
But you're also a little stoned, so
yeah.
A little bit.
I'm just like, you just write it out. Remember when we did it? The birds came after us, and then we just kept running, and it was fine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's great.
I just hide in another bush.
Exactly. You can always just hide behind. Right. We remember we used the terrain to our advantage.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we could run because this is going to be terrifying, but also like we could probably just hide in the bush. Yeah.
Oh shoot!
Would the triggering of Entangle allow us to like start our like surprise round against them?
Yeah, no, you guys will all get a surprise round initially. So basically, how it'll be is we'll roll initiative for the 4 of you guys, and then I'll roll initiative for the NPCs. That'll give us an order of initiative, and then when Castan engages, we will do a full round from the beginning of Castan's turn all the way back to the start of Castan's next turn. That'll be a surprise round where we'll skip over all the NPCs because they're surprised, and so that way you guys get one full round, and then we gotta kind of go into it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So hit me with those initiatives when you guys get a chance, and we will kick this off.
Alright.
But now I
Otherwise,
put
you'll be
on
real
my battle
jittery.
cloak, so I'm all set for.
Honestly,
gonna
I
say,
love
you're
when
looking
you wear
very
that while
GM-y.
DMing. Yeah, because you're like the grand wizard of like the table. Maybe not the
Roll
grand
initiative.
wizard.
Roll
It's a
initiative.
different vibe, but
I love it. Perfect. All right. Let me roll. I'm going to roll for 8 and 9 first.
I lied to you again. They can use their action to make the save on their turn.
Check again. DC.
I don't know my spells. It's fine.
Gaston, Verkis is the liar.
It's a
You've been
family
around me
tree,
too
okay?
much. Been around me too much.
Not cousin is a bad influence.
Why both of my mothers kept me far away from him.
We don't talk about that one. We don't talk about Verkis.
We don't talk about Verkis.
So everyone, this entangle spell, unfortunately, the enemies rolled pretty well. Knoll number 7 and board number 4
Hand
are
of
both.
Dinrak.
Yes. So board number 4 and knoll number 7 are restrained. The other 3 enemies in that circle were able to resist with strength. Yeah.
Okay.
They rolled some
then-
dirty 20s on 4, or a dirty 20, a dirty 19, and then a 16 for those 3. So they rolled pretty high.
I'm going to go ahead and take my starry form archer shot at number 8 then.
Go for it. 8 is one of the 3 that has a bow, so that's a good call. If you want to roll the attack, the armor class is 15 to hit.
Okay. And then let me just check if I have to add Bane to this. I do actually. Never mind.
Oh, oh no.
It's
yeah,
my
because it's an
life.
attack
fine.
roll. Yeah, it's all attack rolls. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, an 18 to hit.
That hits. Roll me damage. Nice shot.
So that's going to be 7 radiant damage.
7 radiant? Okay, sweet. And that was on number 8. Perfect. So you see knoll number 8 stagger back as your magical arrow hits it.
And then that's when my held action, or like my hold place, kicks in,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes. So, Castan, real quick before Verkis' turn starts, Castan, do you want to remain in the position you're at, or move a little closer, or stay at a good position for range attack?
I'll stay where I'm at for now, and just kind of see how the battle shapes out.
Perfect. And before your turn ends, sorry, one more thing, Castan. I did realize since you guys are initiating the ambush, you're surprising and you're flanking. Please roll that magical attack one more time in case you crit. I do want to give you advantage on that bow attack.
It's 1 better, but not a crit. So.
Cool. Okay. Sounds good. Verkis, your turn, my friend.
Great, and I would have wanted to have situated myself like maybe 30 to 60 feet close to them.
Perfect.
So I'm actually going to invoke the power of my Zephyr Strike that I can do once per spell.
Nice.
Per time I cast a spell, and I just, in a flash of wind, go 60 feet forward. And strike at the one that just got blasted by the radiant energy.
Nice.
And we'll see what happens.
So that's number 8, and actually, I would like you to, as a bonus rule of cool thing, as you jump forward with that 60 feet, so your actual melee attack's going to be against knoll number 8, but I would like you to roll a 1d6 bludgeoning attack against 9 and B4, as you just kind of knock them back with your strike, since you're magically thrusting forward, flame on style. I like it.
Sounds good. So I rolled for my first short sword, that's a 24 to hit.
That absolutely hits. Nice.
And I'm going to use my and because I'm also invoking that Zephyr Strike, I actually do an extra D8 force damage.
Nice.
Oh, that's lovely.
You also rolled at advantage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Sorry, I was
Yeah.
like zoned off for a bit.
No, you're good. So that is just to null number 8. That is 9 points of slashing damage and 7 points of force damage.
So 16 damage total.
Yeah.
Hot diggity. You definitely. Do you want to behead that knoll or just run him through? How do you want to kill him?
Oh,
That's a kill.
him.
That's a kill.
Behead him. Just appear and slice.
Have you guys ever played like Shadow of Mordor, that Lord of the Rings game?
Yeah.
Because there's that one where you can just go forward. It's just like a whoosh, and you just like behead the orc as you go through. That's just what I'm picturing right now.
Yeah, and then I'll roll that D6 for those 2
Yeah. So
unfortunate souls.
Knoll 9 and B4, you definitely hit. So just a D6 of bludgeoning they take as they're knocked back as you behead their little team leader there.
Okay, so I will do 6 damage to the boar and 3 to the knoll.
Nice.
And then with that, I'm going to use my bonus action to strike at the boar.
Go for it.
Nat 20.
You don't need to roll damage. It's a kill. It's gone.
And then, yeah, that's my go.
Describe how you kill the boar after you behead the knoll.
In Verkis style, as the one moment that I do something really cool, I whip my blade down and I just hear and accidental kill.
I love it. I love it. That was an excellent turn, Verkis. Kastan has done his turn. Tide, you are up next.
Okay, so I'm going to cast on 5 and 4, because I can split this cantrip. I'm going to cast Sacred Flame, so they both need to make a Dex saving throw of 14.
Number 5 passes. Number 4 fails.
Cool. So number 4 is going to take 4 radiant damage.
Nice.
And then I'm going to quicken spell chill touch to attack that one I missed. Attack 5.
Perfect.
And actually hit him. Well, hopefully.
Hopefully. For this one, because it's a spell attack, please get advantage from your because it's a surprise round.
Yep.
Still not great. You want the advantage?
Uh-oh. His AC is 15.
Yeah, we were able to figure that out.
I got 15.
Nice. That hits. That hits.
It's another D8, and I'm adding proficiency. So I got another 4, and this is necrotic damage.
Nice. Yeah, Knowles, these guys do not appear to you all to have any damage, immunity, or vulnerabilities or anything like that. So
I'm kind of just like shooting magic off that way, and then I'm going to kind of like hide back behind, like just take some cover from behind like a tree if I can, and then
you certainly can.
That'll be my turn.
Nice. Well, you got 2 injured right there. You guys are off to a great start. Eremos, you are. How close did you want to get when you were approaching? Like, do you want to be able to kind of hasten your pace and attack this round?
Yeah, if that's possible. I for sure want to have the horses use dash actions and just bring me right up into the group. And that includes Archer number 2, which I will be targeting if I can get close enough.
You sure can, because I figure as you were approaching, you would have timed it based on seeing the magical strikes from Kastan and Tide and hearing Verkis' awesome thrust into the combat. Like, you'd be able to time it to where on your turn, you could just kind of, you were moving and you could see that they saw you and then you just charge right in. So
I'm gonna draft with the horses on Verkis' wind trail, but then veer off to the left and then engage that group that no one has engaged with yet.
And as you break off, Tvusa is going to use his reaction, and your first attack has a D6 fire damage.
Yes.
Nice.
Love it. All right. If you want to attack Archer 2, his AC is 15. Because you are heading forward, and it is a surprise round from everyone, please roll at advantage, Eremos.
Yes, attack.
Does Bub get to do his trampling attack?
Yeah, I was going to actually roll
Damn
for
it,
that.
I should have given it to Bub. Have hooves of fire.
Flame attack.
His
Awesome,
hooves
Eremos.
just
Yep.
like
That
get
21
shot.
hits, so you do 9 damage to number 2. And then please roll a d6 for fire damage.
I'm also going to use a level 1 Divine Smite.
Nice. 14? Oh, goodness.
Oh, this guy no longer is even in this realm.
So as you charge forward, Knoll number 2 steps out and he readies his spear. And you notice he's got a bunch of like smaller creature like skulls and like jawbones on his necklace as like trophies. Like this guy thinks he's hardcore. But describe how you annihilate him, please.
I just rush in, mounted on Chris, Bub to my right, and the other 2 horses on my left, and we just charge in on the tail current of Verkis' amazing Zephyr Strike, and then we just split off to the left at the last second, and then we just crash into this other group, and I'm just leading the charge with the Morningstar out. It's like a ramming. It's like a ramming right through the sternum, and I just impale him and throw him over the back of the horse.
Nice. Yeah, he goes limp as you hit him with that Morningstar. You fling him over you.
The Morningstar is glowing white and red. It's got fire and holiness all over it.
I love it. So with these awesome OP damage numbers, yeah. So that group, the boar number 1 kind of backs up as the horses crash into that little cluster, but Knoll number 2 is just gone, and Knoll's number 1 and 3 are hurt pretty bad from getting partially trampled by horses.
Hell yeah.
Eremos, are you able to do anything else on your turn? That was awesome.
I am. I will use my bonus action to grant Verkis an additional action on his next turn.
Yes,
Nice.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
I'll give him like an air fist bump. I'll be like,
I love it. I love it. Well, that is our surprise round. So, now we are jumping back into the normal order because you guys went through. So, Knoll
Y'all
number
just got
1,
forced.
because you guys, even though you had that good surprise round, you did roll a little bit lower on initiative. So, a few of the Knolls do get to take turns first before we move into that. And so,